Hello and welcome back to the Field Notebook Podcast here at UTK. I'm Knox Tabor, the owner, editor, manager, whatever you want to call it, of the Field Notebook. This is episode 0. Not quite what we expected to be doing, but we think it's just something fun to do and kind of show why we're doing this and kind of have this be our flagship of, information. Today I got here with me the man who had the original idea, Benjamin Smeltzer.
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Ben.
So today we're just talking about kind of the history of this podcast, which is, history in itself, but not one that you're going to read in any textbook. So Ben, your original idea was the Tri-Way perspective. Can you describe what that was going to look like?
Yeah, of course. So, actually, pretty much, I think if my memory serves me right, about a year ago from today, around the time of that, that's when I really started getting close with Knox over here. We were taking, I think it was Classics 232, which is Archaeology and Art of Ancient Greece and Rome. And I was thinking, I always wanted to do a podcast. And my original intentions, this is like long before I even got to UT, it was like, because I'm, for a background, I am religious for those who don't know. And I was like, well, what if we talk about things like kind of like an apologetics group, if that kind of makes sense. And then it kind of evolved in my brain, kind of like maybe we can have an archaeological twist to it. And then it turned into like, no, we're going to make this archaeology. And then I was like, I think that's a really good idea, but I never really knew how to set it up. I never knew how to start a podcast. I never knew like all the basic logistics that had to go into it. I don't have any recording experience of whatnot. And then I met Knox in class for spring of 24. Yeah, this is 24. And we immediately hit it off as friends. Well, I mean, we were acquaintances, but we really like hit friend level at that point. And then the idea came up because I was like, I always wanted to start a podcast because there's a lot of big philosophical topics that correspond with archaeology, and not even that, but just human history in general. I was like, well, what if we talk about it? And then I remember another part of that was like, well, what if we add different types of philosophical concepts of religion to it? Because that makes it really interesting and complex. And I remember we really had a time where we were in a library. Instead of studying for a test, we took 2 hours just mapping out and I wouldn't say debunking, it's the wrong choice of words, but like really breaking down every thought and approach to different types of religions in the world. And we're like, wow, this can really correspond with human history for X, Y, and Z, just kind of things like that. And the reason why we call it the Tri-Way perspective is it was going to be me, who is religious, and then on purpose, we were going to have kind of Knox, who's kind of an in-between guy. I mean, he's more of agnostic. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Knox, but that's where you were.
That is currently where I'm sitting.
Yeah, and then we would purposely have a guy who's completely like, no, I believe in just this. And the reason for that is as I got into academia, even as a religious individual, I learned more about things when I talk to people who have a completely different view on it. You learn different perspectives because anything I learned in any poem, like any piece of literature, is that it's all about perspective. And I feel like if we talk to each other a lot more, and the whole point of that was to just kind of start a movement to where we just kind of really just let's just talk to people that are different from us. Let's talk to people from different cultures, completely different viewpoints, because 9 times out of 10 they have a reasonable reason why. They and it would be very foul to believe, unlike if you go to I was raised in a weird church where it's anybody that doesn't agree with us is wrong. Well, that doesn't really get you anywhere in terms of advancement in the world. So I'm and especially in terms of academia. But the whole point of it was to have people kind of one side, two different sides of the spectrum, but also a person in between, to really just really have a conversation and talk about these things in a very respectful manner, to where we can learn about each other, learn about things. Because I come to find out when I talk to people opposite of me or have polar opposite viewpoints, I learn more about them. And then it makes me think, I never thought of it that way. And then it makes you think more. It can either take away your original viewpoint or add on to it. It just depends on the conversation, who you're talking to, all those different things. And then I guess as time went on, this is kind of what it developed into, because me and Knox are pretty much going into archaeology, realms of it, if you will. I'm going into the biblical archaeology world. Remind me again, Knox, because remember you changed it up a little bit.
I'm definitely sticking more with prehistoric archaeology as of now.
Yeah.
which we'll get to that later, hopefully. But where we're going with it now kind of stems from, well, really just last semester. Last semester, fall of 2024, I took the most intense course load I ever have.
Oh, yeah.
I had 4 senior level classes, and as of right now, I am a second semester sophomore. My finals, like all my final projects, I had to make a museum exhibition, which was really wonderful. I really wish I had some way of giving it to you all, but I'm sorry I can't. I had to write a long-term paper about wine practices in prehistoric Crete, which hopefully we'll do a future episode on that. And I was helping one of the anthropology grad students with her dissertation on plantation plant remains, how slaves interacted with and used plants in what's the word?
Is it botany?
Not botany. Just in like slavery era Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
And so I had 2 long papers, a museum exhibition or exhibit, and I didn't want to do a third paper on top of it. So instead, I kicked up this old idea that Ben gave me, which we thought about doing that semester, but our schedules didn't really line up at all. So we didn't get to see very much of each other, which kind of sucked.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate. It actually really made me depressed, if I'm being honest with you. I was like, dang, I don't have my friend who's like significantly more intelligent than I am to help me in this class.
I appreciate it, but
no problem.
I didn't want to do another one, so I started this up, and I thought, why limit it to me, Ben, and even just some random other person? Why not make this something public? And that's kind of what I've developed this into, the Field Notebook, because that's where we get all of our information about classics, archaeology, anthropology, history.
Mm-hmm.
We get it from a Field Notebook and just other historical and archaeological records. So with that name, I decided to try to make this open to the UTK student body. And as of right now, this is only the 3rd episode we will have published, but hopefully you all can reach out and give your ideas, give your pitches for what you want to see on the episode or on the podcast, and if you want to host an episode. I have a handful of people who are interested already, so we should get to see the fruition of that pretty soon. And I'm really excited for it. Ben and I will have an episode hopefully in the coming weeks about his research interests, and probably one about mine as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I think that's all I got to say. How about you, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, I guess in long term, I really hope to kind of, pretty much what you said, like really make this a student body thing to where maybe we have somebody from a completely different background who talks about what they have to say, and we really just have a nice, genuine conversation with them. And then hopefully, I mean, this is, big plans here. Like, what if this blows up into something huge? I mean, I doubt it, but I mean, we'll see. And like, yeah, and like, who knows? We might have celebrities on here like Joe Rogan. Nah. we'll start having we'll have the I don't know, President Barack Obama on here talk about archaeology.
Well, we'll see what we can manage, but it's probably going to stay to the student body.
Yeah, I mean, the likelihood of that happening is pretty much darn tootin', set in stone.
Well, thank you all for listening to our shorter episode, kind of just about where this whole adventure started and hopefully where it's going. We will see you all in episode 3, and until then, stay safe.
Go Vols.